Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 5:30, and I will call this regular meeting of the Burnsville City Council to order. It is our tradition to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we invite you to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, it's good to see all the members of our community here in person, because members of the community and guests can also watch this meeting at burnsvillemn.gov/meetings or on channel 16 or 859. And the public can also participate through Zoom by joining us at zoom.us/join. More information is available on our meeting webpage and in the council agenda packet. The first item on the agenda is announcements, and all of the announcements have to do with all of our upcoming meetings. And then we have a recognition for one of our staff members, and then we also will have a report from Experience Burnsville. Regular council meetings are scheduled Tuesday, April 22nd at 5:30 p.m. and Tuesday, May 6th at 5:30 p.m. We have work sessions scheduled for Tuesday, April 15th at 5:30 p.m. We have a closed work session for the city manager's performance review, and that's Tuesday, April 22nd at 6 p.m. in Dakota B. And then we have a special work session for the quarterly roundtable. That's Tuesday at April 29th at 5:30 p.m. All meetings of the Burnsville City Council are held here in the chambers unless I announce that it's going to be in a different location. So this evening, Deputy City Manager Thompson and I will be over at that side to present to our retiring staff. To the members of our community, members of the City Council, and guests. Tonight, we are recognizing the service for Deb Garros. And if Deb can come up here, so everybody know who you are, Deb. Deb has served the city remarkably for 20 years. Her career at the city of Burnsville started in February 22nd, 2005, and a lot of her colleagues are here to recognize her service and to wish her well. So from February 22nd, 2005 to today, Deb will be retiring April 18th, 2025. And in the meantime, she attended an impressive 193 Planning Commission meetings. That's a lot of meetings. So Deb mostly presents before the Planning Commission, but occasionally, in my 30 years and her 20 years, she's appeared before us, and she's always well prepared and very comprehensive
Very.
in her reports.
Oh, yeah.
We keep saying, less Deb. When we want more information, we know where to go.
She eliminates all questions, or at least the possibility of a question.
Yes, yes, yes. So, but she has been a key leader on the numerous high-profile projects, including the MBTA transit station, the Caliber Power Sport product, and countless efforts to preserve and strengthen our industrial district, especially the I-3 industrial district, which she considers to be her baby. And I don't know if you understand where the industrial districts are here in Burnsville. You know, there's the Locke Industrial District down in North Burnsville on 12th and Cliff Road, and down where Pepsi is. That's one of the industrial districts. The other one is over on 42, on the south side and on the north side. And I think those are the two major industrial districts here in Burnsville. Right, Deb?
Yes.
I think I got it right. Okay.
Yes, except for my friends at the utility companies and landfill.
Oh, yeah, well, yes. That's a little different. And of course, the Minnesota River Quadrant is the other big industrial district. And so she served as a liaison with key partners like CenterPoint Energy and Excel and Waste Management, who I understand, Deb, they all want to now meet all the new people who they're going to have to work with because it's not you. So thank you for all of the work that you've done, and you have been an incredible customer service advocate for the way that we do our work, and also your work ethic is exemplary. Deb often worked late nights to ensure that projects were ready for approval and balanced developers' needs and also the best interest of the city. It is very difficult for our staff, and why we're switching over and making sure that you all get to meet our staff is to humanize them. They're not just government employees, they're human beings who deliver great services to our community, and that's what people like Deb do. And sometimes it's very difficult to balance the needs of the developer, but also making sure that you are complying with the law. But you do a good job of facilitating and helping them to succeed in their projects. And sometimes it takes a lot of hand-holding. And so thank you for all of that. And her deep knowledge and thoughtful staff reports have been daily resource for her colleagues, and her famous Deb tours have been a rite of passage for many of the community development staff. So in retirement, Deb is looking forward to gardening, time with her beloved cat Puff, and enjoying life with friends and family. So Deb, congratulations. And I know probably if we need you, we know where to find you. Right? Yes. And so on behalf of the City Council and the staff, this is in recognition of your service. And our Deputy City Manager, Community Development Director, Jeff Thompson, also has something for you.
Thanks, Mayor. Very well said. I knew when Deb retired that the date was a little suspicious to me because I was looking at the year and I thought there must be meaning to the year of 2025. And Deb finally let it slip that our next comp plan update is coming soon this fall. And so I noticed your retirement age was very suspiciously ahead of the next comp plan update.
That's good.
But the mayor said it great with all the impacts on projects that Deb has had. It's been an invaluable resource to me, and I know our team on the institutional knowledge that you have of Burnsville. It'll be walking out the door. It'll be sorely missed. But I think most importantly is just your relationships with your team, with the city staff, but also the community. I know you're very dedicated to the Planning Commission and serving our community to look out what's best for the long term of Burnsville. So thank you for everything you've done. You will be greatly missed in Burnsville.
Thank you.
So, this is good because I'm always worried about Councilmember Short.
Yes,
Yes, no worries.
I'll make sure I can see all of you for sure.
Perfect. We're gonna miss you.
The next item on the agenda, on the announcement and agenda, is the Experience Burnsville Annual Update. And Amy Burrell, the Executive Director, is going to be presenting, and we're doing this a little different. Your budget and strategic plan is on the consent agenda, but thank you for presenting your strategic plan and budget so that people will know what you all are doing.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. In my 19 years of doing this, I've never had an audience like this. So kind of excited to have community members here so that they can learn or expand their knowledge of what Experience Burnsville does. We are the destination marketing organization for the city of Burnsville. We were founded in 1987 for the purpose of attracting visitors, overnight travelers, to our community to enjoy our lodging options, our restaurants, retail, and all of our amenities. We are governed by a 10-member board of directors. A couple of those members are here. Peter Wright with the Minnesota Zoo is our chairperson, and Dan Gustafson, our city council liaison, and Jenny Rohde, our staff liaison from the city. So thank you all for being here. Our mission is to enhance the city's appeal by promoting and marketing the community, and our vision for Burnsville is that we are a vibrant destination for travelers to come, stay, and return year after year. 2024 was a busy year for Experience Burnsville. We launched our new website, burnsvillemn.com, in case anyone wants to check it out, in the first quarter of last year. We saw a nice increase in visitor traffic and engagement and time on our site last year, which was phenomenal given the fact that we did launch a new website. We continued to do photography, photo shoots at some of our partners and our stakeholders' businesses. We did 4 of those in 2024, as well as we created 3 new videos focusing on our convenience and seasonality to come and enjoy all the seasons in Burnsville. Last year when we were here, we announced that we are investing in data, visitor data through Zartico. So we use that information, our visitor profiles and emerging markets, to really hone in who we're marketing to and how long they're staying here and how much they're investing when they're staying in our community. We did apply for a grant for marketing through Explore Minnesota and received those grant dollars last year as well. And we worked on some of our organizational policies and structure. We updated our employee handbook. Experience Burnsville has 1 staff member, so we thought it was very important to keep our handbook up to date. We created a
Who is that?
we created a new board of directors handbook because we're really working on our governance and structure of our board of directors. We renewed our lease. We lease space at the Better Business Bureau, so we renewed that lease late last year for 5 years. And we created a funding task force in late 2024, early 2025 to help us identify some of our key strategies and priorities for 2025. In addition, I just want to give an overview of what visitors, their impact is to our Burnsville economy. 89% of visitors that visit Burnsville spend an average of $336 on our lodging at our hotel motels, which we have 5 of, representing 850 hotel rooms. Our visitors, 58% of them went to our attractions, so that's Buck Hill, our parks, Ames Center, Pro-Kart, Skateville, to name a few, and their average spend was $81 last year. 38% of visitors visited our retail businesses, spending an average of $229. And our visitors at 23% went to our restaurants, our great, diverse, and ethnic restaurants, our local restaurants. And their average guest check was $79. So that's some of the information that we're able to glean from our investment in Zydeco data. Our board of directors met in the summer of 2024 to begin planning for 2025 and beyond. We had our annual planning retreat with a facilitator from Fired Up Culture, Anna Tansky, who some of you may be familiar with. And our board of directors and staff also all participated in the Berkman assessment so that we could really hone in our different personalities. We all represent different businesses and the characteristics that we bring to our board of directors as we govern, and then how we can really engage and work together as a group for the betterment of Burnsville as a destination. So we did that in August of last year, and the board identified 4 key priorities for 2025 through 2030, and they are market the destination, so market and promote Burnsville as a top visitor destination, strengthen our organization, so again, with the board engagement and development, community engagement, we want to be visible in the community, even though we market and promote outside of our community, we want to be a good community steward, and then also destination stewardship. Some of the key strategies for 2025 that were well underway is exploring alternative funding models for our organization. We're funded almost entirely through local option lodging tax, which is a Minnesota state statute 469.190, and that is paid by overnight guests that stay in our hotel motels. We want to continue our investment with Zydeco data and information, as well as Smith Travel, CoStar, that gives us our average daily rate occupancy, our demand and our supply for our hotels. We have a robust content calendar moving forward with our marketing initiatives that is really tied into the seasonality of Minnesota overall. Like, we're very fortunate to have the 4 seasons. And other strategies, like I had already mentioned, is our board development engagement, and then continuing to strengthen our partner and our stakeholder relations. New to this year, we created a private Facebook group for Burnsville hospitality businesses and their staff so that they can network together and share best practices and share trends, and then also receive information from us on a timely basis. And we also redeployed our partner newsletter, something that we created during COVID, but then with the loss of a couple of staff members after COVID, it was bandwidth that I kind of tabled that, but I thought it was important to bring it back this year, so now we're doing a monthly newsletter to our partners as well. Our programs to market and promote Burnsville as a visitor destination in 2025 include paid search, content activation, lead generation, email marketing, which we have 3 newsletters, leisure, local, and our partner newsletter. So if anyone in the audience wants to sign up for the local newsletter, you can do that on our website. Have to keep promoting, sorry. It's in my blood. And then continue to do photography and videography to really tell the stories. And the story of Burnsville really is that of convenience and proximity, that we're a great place to stay, to visit, and go out and see all the major attractions. But we want you to come back home at night, stay in our hotel motels, go to our restaurants, our retail shops, and go to some of our great community events that we have. Our focus, again, like I said, is those outside of the Burnsville area, 50 plus miles. So those that are in a great drive market to our community, as well as would really want to focus spending their night because of our funding at our hotels. Our KPIs include impressions, click-through rate, cost per click, conversion, newsletter signups, and driving traffic to our website. The budget also for 2025, we began discussions on that last summer. Understanding that the Hospitality and Tourism Committee, industry, not committee, is still in recovery. You know, we've been one of the slowest industries to rebound following the pandemic, and the Twin Cities area did see a major influx of hotel motels prior to the Super Bowl coming in, and that all created, additional places for people to stay. And that has an impact on our budget here in Burnsville because it's great to be close to Mall of America and Bloomington, Minneapolis, St. Paul, but it's also when they added all those new hotels, people are staying there, staying closer to some of their destinations. So we did take a very conservative approach in our budgeting for 2025. And we do have a balanced budget, which I'm very happy to say, but we are investing some of our reserve funds that to maintain our marketing level and our organizational level in 2025. And we want to be very nimble in our forecasting and the use of our funds throughout the year, because if we don't need to take from our reserve funds, we really don't want to have to do that. One thing that I will note in the budget, which you probably saw, is on the expenditures under administration was salaries. Last year when we were budgeting and when the board approved the budget in December, we had thought about hiring 1 or 2 part-time people. Since then, given the economy and where we're at with travel and tourism, we decided to hold off on that, and we're going to continue to go with the 1 staff person. So you'll see some updates on that throughout our meeting minutes, and then with Councilmember Gustafson and Jenny Rhodey can answer questions as that happens as well. But overall, we're really excited for 2025. Burnsville is poised to be a great visitor destination. We have some exciting opportunities in front of us as a community. Our hotels continue to offer great service, and we really are fortunate to have all the amenities and the diverse attractions that we have in Burnsville. And with that, I will stand for questions.
Members of the council, Councilmember Workman.
Thank you, Amy, for a great presentation. Just curious if you guys are keeping in touch with the ownership group at the Burnsville Center. I know that a lot of what they're doing is poised to be kind of a regional draw with the Asian Mall and all that.
Yes.
Is there work being done with them right now?
Yes, Marshall and I are in contact via email and social media on a regular basis, and right now I'm trying to work on getting a tour of some things happening out at Burnsville Center. So, yes, just waiting to get email back.
And the open sign to turn on.
Yes, the open sign would be very nice, very nice. We'd love to see more foot traffic out there and
Yeah.
more business, so yes. Yeah,
Okay.
good question, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions for Ms. Burrell? No, very well done, and I like the partnership and that we continue to have with Buck Hill, because it's a big driver, destination driver for us.
Yes.
So thank you for all of that, and a great report in informing people, residents as well as guests and visitors, about what we have here in Burnsville and what they can enjoy with all of the amenities that we have. And the nice thing is that we are close to everywhere, and we're on a transportation corridor.
Yes.
So thank you for all that you do. Councilmember Keeley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just thought of something. Last year and this year, the Burnsville Festival has been asked to help facilitate some class reunions
Okay.
that obviously are going to bring people into town for an overnight stay. And not everybody stays in the town that they graduate from high school. So when they're hosting, they're asking, because the Burnsville Festival and Fire Muster has some nearly 45 years of memories, so some of those class reunions like to come and make the festival one of their evening sort of gatherings.
Yeah.
So I think just wanted to pass that along, because the CVB is an excellent partner with the festival and the International Festival and our Party on the Plaza, so you do a great job partnering and collaborating with us on marketing these things. Class reunions can be a new area to lean into,
Yeah.
Because that will bring, obviously, folks from out of town, spend the weekend, enjoy the class reunion and festival and other events, and they need beds to sleep in,
Yes.
Yeah.
Places to eat.
places to eat.
Things to do. Yes, of course. Buck Hill has a really good market for class reunions.
Yeah.
I think it's because a lot of
Yeah.
people grew up skiing there, working there. So they host quite a few class reunions. So yes, we can chat.
Sound good?
Yeah.
And I
Last,
can get in touch with you.
We had our 20-year class reunion at Buck Hill last year.
You did?
Yeah, last year, there were many, because there was one that was, I think, 30 years.
Yes.
And they were
They
at,
were the
at
weekend
the,
before ours.
yeah,
Yes,
Uh,
they reached out to us, and so we helped with
Yeah.
lodging options
Yeah.
for that, yeah.
Nice.
Yep, it was great.
well, good. So we will be approving your budget
Okay,
and your strategic plan and the consent agenda.
okay, yes.
So thank you so much with all of that, and nicely done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
thank
for
you very
coming in.
much.
Yeah. Okay. The next item on the agenda is citizens' comments, and this is the opportunity for anyone in the audience to address the council on an item that is not on the printed agenda and not an application form that will be coming before us at a future date. And we have three community members who will who have signed up and want to speak. So the first on the list is Mr. John Cradle.
Madam Mayor, if it's okay with you, I'd like to go first.
Well, of course, Mr. Sturm. You know, I'm just going down the list here, but you can go
totally-
first.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and City Council, for the opportunity to speak to you. My name is Ed Sturm. I'm a 17-year resident of Burnsville on Frontier Lane. I'm the president of the Alamagnet Lake Association and a member of the Alamagnet Eco Advocates. I'm also a natural resources volunteer and on the Mobile Volunteer Network. I want to reiterate that the Lake Association and Alamagnet Eco Advocates have no objection to pickleball, only object to the proposed location at Alamagnet Park. Madam Mayor, you asked our group to speak to engagement, something the Alamagnet Eco Advocates have been doing for some months. Not only providing you and the council with presenters, data, and research, but with emails, letters to the editor, and a petition. Community engagement should be driven by the question, what does the community need or want? Burnsville states something similar in the 2024 Parks Plan, which says, and I quote, is aimed at making sure that the City of Burnsville decision-making and investment in community park infrastructure and services is clear, fair, equal, and based on evidence of need and the insights of the community. We have spent significant time and effort looking for the data to support the need or want for pickleball in Burnsville. For example, we had meetings with city staff. We submitted Freedom of Information Act or FOIA requests. We searched the city website. We searched the 2024 Parks Plan. We searched the Burnsville 2022 Natural Resources Master Plan, etc. What we found was only anecdotal evidence from city staff to support the need or want for pickleball in Burnsville. We found no data to support the decision to choose Alamagnet Park as the location for a pickleball complex. The handout provided shows the city's data with the top requested items by citizens in the 2017 City of Burnsville Parks Plan. Pickleball received only 7.4% of the responses, landing in the bottom of 33 choices. Trails is number one overwhelmingly at 63%. Should pickleball still be provided in Burnsville? Absolutely. We know pickleball is popular. Our group has never been anti-pickleball. We are anti-location of pickleball at Alamagnet Park, which, by the way, is the #1 ranked park of 15 per the Burnsville 2022 Natural Resources Master Plan. Which brings me to important reasons we have to protect Alamagnet from the negative impacts of adding hard surface to the park, which will create more runoff into the lake, which it bears repeating has been on the impaired waters list for over 20 years. The city does not have a detailed mitigation plan for this project and in fact does not know the cost of it. At previous council meetings and the PNRC meeting last night, our group presented information on the degradation of Alamagnet Lake and the entire ecosystem from additional runoff into the lake, increased noise pollution, increased light pollution, worsening heat island impact, etc., all resulting from the proposed courts and related parking. As I discussed in detail at the PNRC meeting last night, we submitted multiple FOIAs requesting the support for the need for additional parking at Alamagnet Park. We never received any significant data to support the need for the additional parking. The city has little justification for spending money and creating more environmental damage from additional parking at Alamagnet Park. In an attempt to address concerns about noise pollution, the city paid an outside consultant to perform a, quote, sound study, end quote. We received the results of this study through FOIA request. The study could better be described as a compendium of information from various sources. The study did not simulate actual sound travel from the proposed pickleball site through the park and the area surrounding the park, known as the Echo Valley subdivision. This area is very appropriately named because the sound echoes between the park and Echo Park Elementary School, which is at the top of the hill on County Road 11. The people who put this sound study together never stepped foot in Alamagnet Park. The majority of the sources used in creation of the worksheet were pro-pickleball sources, so they should be considered skewed. The topic was further discussed at the PNRC meeting last night. This study ultimately, and unfortunately, is of little to no value in addressing sound pollution concerns. The city has clearly stated the proposed Alamagnet location does not have the space to expand beyond the current 8-court design. The proposed location at Alamagnet will be more costly than other locations due to the incremental mitigation needed at Alamagnet, associated with water runoff, mitigating sound pollution, etc. In closing, the city has not presented the data to support the need or want for pickleball in Burnsville. The city only has anecdotal evidence of need or want. Despite that, we are not and never have been opposed to more pickleball in Burnsville. The city should choose to add pickleball in a location other than Alamagnet that is more environmentally friendly, more fiscally prudent, and gives the city future options for expansion with more pickleball courts. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Sturm. Okay, now,
I do.
oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Sturm, Councilmember Schultz has a question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So you have stated that it is more expensive to build pickleball at Alamagnet. Could you tell me the cost of what it will be to build pickleball at Alamagnet versus the other parks?
The only information that we have from the city is the what was originally proposed cost $990,000 at Alamagnet, and then last night at PNRC we did see that number has been raised to $1,150,000 at Alamagnet.
Okay, and so what is that cost at other parks, please?
We do not have that information. All that we do know is that the mitigation issues that exist at Alamagnet, because it sits on the shore of a lake, those issues would not exist at a non-lake location, as an example.
As an example, I can tell you they absolutely do exist at other locations. So when you categorically state that you know that it would cost more to be at another place, you should probably have those costs. Otherwise, you cannot state that it will be more. You don't know, and I don't know. And I was wondering where you got that information, since I don't have that information.
We believe that the only location that's under consideration to be on a lake is the proposed Alamagnet location.
Being on a lake has nothing to do with having to mitigate water runoff. There are other parks and other locations that even if they are not at a lake, they would require mitigation of water runoff.
So the part of the issue at Alamagnet is that the close proximity to the shoreline makes it difficult to get the appropriate rain gardens between the location where the pickleball courts would sit and the shoreline. So for example, at the PNRC meeting back in December, there was a diagram presented and it's very tight in there. As you pull into the park off of County Road 11, the pickleball courts would be on the immediate left. The proposed additional parking would also be on the immediate left. and then you very quickly run into that existing parking lot where the maintenance facility kind of, well, it's not a maintenance facility, maintenance shed, I guess, is behind that. And so part of the problem is when that old Alamagnet house was there, there's a big ravine that drops, you know, back to the lake off of that.
Yes, there is, and there's some erosion.
And the problem that I think they were dealing with is how do you get big enough rain gardens into that very tight space? Or do you have to go over to the wetlands? You can't do that. And that's an issue that, you know, that tight fit doesn't seem to exist at some of other potential locations.
So what will be happening at our work session is some of this information will be presented, and staff will be showing how this could be possible. They'll also be looking at other locations and the challenges that we face at other locations, because there is no perfect location. Each one of them has a trade-off. I asked specifically to staff for costs. They don't have them yet because we haven't run through the process on each one of them. Those studies take a lot of time and a lot of money to do. So my objection is when you state that you know the cost and you don't, that's a problem. You don't know the cost. I don't know the cost. We don't know the cost yet. We don't know the cost. Do you know the other locations that are being considered?
We do have the site selection PDF that we received through a FOIA request.
Okay, so were there costs attached?
There was no cost provided by the city in that PDF.
Correct. We don't know yet.
And just
On our next work session, we're going to be having that information presented. So you are correct that you are looking for information and it's not yet provided. And the reason for that is we do have a process for how we do things, and information comes out during those times. I am still waiting for the information, and I will get that information at the work session. So that's what I'm waiting for. Now, when I hear residents say, we don't have the information yet, you are absolutely correct. You don't have the information yet. I don't have the information yet. We're gonna all get the information at the work session.
so
However, to frame that as a failing is incorrect. We're in steps in a process.
I didn't frame it as a failing. I simply said that that the costs are not known by the city at Alamagnet. I'm sorry if there was a misunderstanding about that.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on. Thank you so much. Mr. John Cradle?
Excuse me, Madam Mayor, may I go before Jay John?
Ms. Grazzini, if you wish to go first, you,
See how nimble we all are.
yeah, yeah, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, the podium is yours.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Hey, I'm just going from how it's,
Well, we're
it's,
usually fairly organized, but it's been a rough
Yeah.
week or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's a spring almost weather.
Yeah.
Thank you all again for tolerating our talks. My name is Andrea Grazzini, and I'm on Frontier Lane. I'd like to just quickly address, and I hate to belabor this, but the fact is that, of course, we don't want to make claims that we can't support. However, we've been asking for the data that Councilmember Schultz is referring to for since November. So it's part of our issue is that we're dealing with continually trying to get information from the staff, and it's been much, some of it, not all of it, but a lot of it having to do with things like cost have been that's been specifically slow to come, and often missing the information we ask, in spite of the fact that the city's got that information. So that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit tonight. Some of my work has been in civic engagement, so it's near and dear to my heart, very important to me. And because some of my work is in that, it's also important to me that as a citizen, I engage back, so to speak. And I think our group has tried to do that. when we first started hearing about this and listening to staff talk about it, they talked a lot about engagement, and that encouraged us. We thought that meant that they were speaking in an inclusive way with representative citizens that represent all of Burnsville. And so that sounded pretty good. We found out, unfortunately, that that has not been the case. Almost at all. And I don't mean to beat up on anyone, but I think if
But
we're
you're
going
going
to, excuse me?
But you're going to. So let's do it.
Yeah. I'm going to, Ms. Grazzini, please proceed. And
Thank
we are going to be mutual respectful in
Absolutely.
the way that we
Yeah, we are going to.
engage in these.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
what I was saying. I don't want to have to bring this up. But we want to be collaborative. And if collaboration is to happen, it requires mutual trust. We have to be able to trust the people we're trying to collaborate with. And while it might be uncomfortable, or you might feel like I'm attacking, I'm not. I'm trying to share information that I think as leaders, as I was also a leader of 2 companies and many civic organizations, you would want to hear this feedback. If you'd rather not hear the truthful feedback, I'm happy not to share it.
Ms. Grazzini, the floor is yours.
Thank you. We understand that to develop a pickleball court, you need to talk to pickleball players. We want to be clear on that. Of course you do. However, that's been the majority of the engagement on this project, in spite of many promises to the contrary. And we have the data to prove that, and we have the sources to prove that, and we'll give you those in detail, rather. But even sort of sensing this, we again tried to self-engage. Rather than leaping to assumptions, we tried to gain information so we didn't make wrong assumptions. Ed referred to the many ways that we did that. Many times it was in person. Michelle's group was incredible, and I really do appreciate you guys all again and again and again. Thank you. As we tried to gain information that we weren't able to get when we met with the staff. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this. They may have been busy, they may have been overwhelmed, they may not have had the information and just didn't sometimes we don't want to admit what we don't have, whatever. So we asked for the concrete data. That concrete data led us to kind of one of our worst fears. The city, in the Parks and Rec 2024 plan, it says, community engagement focused on collecting data from a representative sample of Burnsville demographics is important, and of course it is. But it's got to be more than just words and plans. It's got to be action. It's got to be real. And for us to collaborate with equal energy and sincerity, we need honest answers. We need that to be fulfilled. So we want to know how staff, as we kind of started wondering about this, one of the staff said that you all had worked with citizens to develop the pickleball plan. Again, that didn't bother us, but we just want to understand what that looked like. We very innocently wanted to understand how you do civic engagement. A lot of people do it different ways. We've asked Jeff that. We've had that discussion. You know, some people do it differently. But staff said, this sort of caught us off guard when they said they didn't know who they invited or who they talked to, which seemed surprising to us. We figured it would be some pickleball players and probably also some representative groups of Burnsville citizens. That was odd. The answer clearly in numerous documents was we don't know. We don't keep track of that. They said they didn't select or specially invite anybody to these events. And they certainly didn't target the pickleball community. That's what they said in numerous written documents in response to the requests that we made. When we asked them for copies of invitations to these events to maybe kind of figure out if what that might tell us, if anything, we had missed these. And in part, I at least was looking and saying, how did I miss this? So that would help us understand how we missed it, or so we thought. We were told numerous times that they didn't know the names or purposes of early meetings on the community meetings. They didn't know the name of it. They didn't know what the purpose of those meetings were. However, through our FOIA process, we learned that they very well did know exactly what the names of those were. They knew what the purpose of them were because we found the invitations for those that they said they couldn't find. In fact, some of those invitations we didn't need FOIA. We found them right on your website and your calendar. One of those was for a January 23rd, 2023 open house, pickleball open house was the name of that the staff didn't know of. But it was called the Pickleball Open House. They said, we want to hear from you. Are you interested in adding pickleball courts to Alamagna Park? Okay. On November 18th, 2024 event, the invite was Alamagna Pickleball Open House calling all pickleball enthusiasts. We want to hear from you. Now, those are two that, although the staff had said, maybe a little maybe trying to convince us that they absolutely didn't invite anybody. The pickleball had nothing to do with the pickleball plan. They kept on saying they never invited pickleball players specifically. Well, those two sound like pickleball engagements to me. They sound like targeted to pickleball players. And in fact, they were. Beyond public invitations like these, we have not been able to complete a full audit of the information that Michelle's team has so assiduously provided. Thank you. We will. I will put it to use. I will not waste your time. From what we've been able to see so far, staff initiated at least 11 private, personal emails to invite pickleball enthusiasts to events having to do with Alamagna pickleball. They also, in personal, private email invitations, invited people, pickleball enthusiasts, to Parks Visioning events about Alamagna pickleball, City Council meetings about Alamagna pickleball, and Parks and Natural Resources Commission meetings about pickleball. All of them. Now, some of these were sent to one person. Some were sent to small groups. At least 2 were sent to over 200 pickleball enthusiasts. They were also posted on Pickleball Minnesota's Facebook group. Pickleball volunteers were given outreach, and participants of at least 2 years of pickleball tournaments were given outreach about the pickleball courts at Alamagna.
Ms. Grazzini, how much longer are you going to?
Not long. I can wrap it up pretty quick. In fact, I can cut it off there. That may be enough. But I do want to add, the staff was able to provide us to what they called engagements, pickleball engagement. We said, okay, so how many pickleball engagements have there been? Maybe there's been a ton of them, and this is just some portion of it, and there's also been all kinds of other things going on. Well, there wasn't. There was 2 open houses, one on January 23rd, 2023, the other on November 18th, 2024. There were 2 other meetings, both of which were attended by one person, both of which were personally invited. One was from our team, to be fair, and one was a pickleball leader. Those were 4 of the 6 meetings that were put on the list of pickleball meetings that staff told us they conducted. The other 2, one was not a meeting for pickleball specifically, it was a Parks and Natural Resources meeting. It wasn't a meeting for pickleball inputs, although we showed up unbeknownst to anybody and made some comments. So they determined that that was a pickleball engagement. We would disagree. And the last one was the Alamagna Park, or the Lake Alamagna water quality meeting. It wasn't about pickleball, but it was our group, so there was that attachment. I think you get it.
Yeah, I think you need to wrap it up.
I will. I think
you.
you get it. I think if we're going to be collaborative, and we want to be, your staff has been kind, but they need to be honest. And they need to engage the way they say they're going to engage, and the way you say, and you all promise that they're going to engage. And if I'm wrong, Kara, please do send me a note and correct me, okay? Because I don't want to say something untrue. And I'm not saying it too. I know it's from data given by your staff. So, but maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, it's pretty awful that our staff engaged people about pickleball when the topic is pickleball.
Exactly what I said, however.
That's pretty awful. I
Okay.
mean, how dare they?
We're going to move on. Thank you very much. Mr. Crowell. Crowell, okay.
I'll try and be brief.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is John Corshell. I live at 1300 Frontier Lane for 27 years.
Yeah.
And I'm here
Forgive me for
repre-
mispronouncing your name.
That's fine.
I didn't
Everybody
see
does.
that was an S, Kershell. Okay.
Yep. So I want to emphasize 2 points to begin with. As you've heard many times, we're not anti-pickleball. We're just anti that location. And secondly, there's been criticism that this has kind of been a NIMBY response from homeowners, lakeside homeowners, and that's not the case. I live near the lake, but I don't live on the lake. And from our petition, you'll see, and on the map that you've been provided, you can see there's responses from all over the city that are concerned about Alamagnet Lake or Alamagnet Park being chosen as a site. So what concerned us most when this proposal first came to our attention was that the Alamagnet Park location appeared to have already been chosen, without significant public involvement or meaningful input from those who use the park daily. So we took action. For over a month, we met or tried to meet with city staff to learn more about the project, how and why Alamagnet Park was chosen, what research supported that decision, and how community input was considered. We were largely unsuccessful in getting adequate answers in a timely manner, so we began attending and speaking at the city council meetings. As many of our questions remained unanswered, we felt the next step was a broader public engagement. So we launched a petition drive, speaking with neighbors, setting up tables at local businesses, places of worship, and at the Alamagnet Dog Park. We posted signs throughout the community, and we started an online petition through change.org. The response was more successful and more enlightening than we expected, and what we found was striking. Across hundreds of conversations, a clear pattern emerged. The vast majority of residents we spoke with were either unaware of or only vaguely familiar with this proposed plan to put that to courts in Alamagnet. Once they learned the details, they expressed concern, sometimes even disbelief, that Alamagnet Park had been chosen as its site. People raised thoughtful and recurring concerns. First, the environmental impact. Alamagnet Park is home to established wildlife habitats, sensitive wetlands, and residents were justifiably worried about disrupting these natural systems, including the lake and surrounding green space. Second, traffic and noise. The park is already busy, serving families, dog walkers, youth sports, nature lovers. Adding another large high-use athletic amenity will further increase traffic flow on nearby residential streets and significantly alter the peaceful character of the area. And third, the process itself. People felt blindsided. Many told us, "I had no idea this was even being discussed." That signals a breakdown in public engagement, one that should be addressed. Based on our outreach, we estimate that nearly 95% of those we spoke with signed the petition opposing the Alamagnet location. But just as important as the numbers are the stories. One man initially declined to sign the petition at the dog park, but after his walk, he returned and said, "I realized I wouldn't be able to hear the birds." Lauren Danner, a mother of an autistic child who has spoken here earlier, shared that her son finds great comfort in the peace of Alamagnet Park on their daily walks. The noise generated by pickleball would severely disrupt that peace. While petitioning, she spoke with several other families in the Echo Park area who also have children with autism and other disabilities and express similar concerns. We know that individuals with such disabilities often have heightened sensory sensibilities, and noise can significantly affect their well-being. My own adult daughter has expressed the same concerns due to her ADHD sensory issues and said she would be unable to visit the park again, the park of her childhood. A couple living on 11th Street, directly across from County Road 11 from their proposed site, were so concerned they attended the city council meeting the very next day. And another resident from Williamsburg Curve signed the petition and then immediately sent a thoughtful, detailed email to council members that same day. I'll quote a couple of quotes from her letter. "Truly shocked to hear that there has been no environmental impact study done for this proposed development. Alamagnet Park is a priority natural area with a priority water body and a Minnesota natural community with rare species. Why would you add such pavement without studying the extent of negative impact on habitat? Another Burnsville Planning Commissioner, a former Burnsville Planning Commissioner, Ram Singh, asked that we use his name to also tell the city that pickleball should not be at Alamagnet Park. These are just a few of the examples of what we've heard. What we're seeing is this: when residents are informed, they care. When they understand what's happening, they want to be part of the conversation. They want to help shape the future of this community, not just watch it unfold without their voice. Let me reiterate, we're not against pickleball. We recognize its value and growing popularity. The issue is locations, and whether a high-use amenity belongs in a natural space that already offers tremendous, tremendous community and ecological value. As a community, we treasure Alamagnet Park for what it uniquely provides: a quiet, natural retreat in a city that's growing. Its long-term value as green space far outweighs the short-term benefit of adding courts, especially without a robust, transparent public process. So tonight, we respectfully ask the council to next week vote no on the proposal to place pickleball courts at Alamagnet Park, and to select an appropriate location that does not come at the cost of environmental integrity or public trust. If such a site can't be found within the city limits, perhaps additional pickleball in Burnsville is just not meant to be. Put the funds towards projects that are more in line with the city's stated goals and vision. Again, we're not here to be adversarial. We're here because we care deeply about this park and the people who find peace in it. We believe that good decisions come from good process, and good process starts with listening. Thank you for your time, your service, and for considering the voices of those who live, play, and restore themselves in Alamagnet Park.
Thank you. And now we will move on. The next item on the agenda is additions to the final agenda. Deputy City Manager Thompson, are there any additions to the final agenda?
None from staff, Mayor.
Very good. Members of the council, any additions? Very well. We then will move on. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. These are items that's considered to be routine and will be enacted with one motion. However, an item may be removed from the consent agenda for a separate discussion and vote. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes an item on the consent agenda to be removed for a separate discussion and vote? Ms. Collins, is there anyone online who wishes to remove an item? No one online. Deputy City Manager Thompson, does staff have an item to be removed?
Nothing from staff, Mayor.
Members of the council. Members of the council, I now ask for a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for being with us this evening. We stand adjourned.
Gotta move.
Got a motion to it.
I move.
I move to adjourn.
Oh, there you go, she beat.
Is there a motion to adjourn? I think we all, yeah.
Okay, don't give her a second.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us this evening. Good night.